if you look at Global Methodist Church, or in fact, even among other denominations, many times if you see the churches in Africa and in Philippines and in other Asian countries, you find them to be more conservative than liberal.
Yes.
When you come to the West, like European countries and in the United States, you find them more secular, embracing more secular views on marriage and gender. Why do you think the reason for this tendency?
That's an excellent question. And I don't know that I have an answer that would explain it, except that the West has gone through an intellectual development that has involved, for example, the Enlightenment and the Age of Reason, and that has led to certain questions that have caused doubt to come into the Western culture. There has been a growth of adherence to materialism in the West that is not necessarily present, say, in some parts of Africa. And Christianity, as in the number of adherents of Christianity in the West, have declined as those sorts of forces have gained prevalence. The faith and the authenticity of the faith of persons in the global South is much more vibrant often than we find in the West. The church is growing exponentially. The church universal is growing exponentially in the global South, while the church as a whole has declined in the West. And I think some of these secular cultural forces have contributed to that.
Do you think that Satan is more active in the Western church because the Western church has done so much for God?
Well,
so
you know,
much.
yeah.
It sends so many missionaries around the world. It sends so much material aid to the people. So by disrupting the church in the West, Satan could disrupt the Christian activity around the world. Do you think?
I don't believe Satan is more active in the West. I think Satan is active globally.
Globally.
Yeah, and I believe we're always in a spiritual battle. You know, we're told that that the battle is not of flesh, but of the principalities and the powers, and that we need to engage that battle spiritually. Sure, there are times when I believe that we become more vulnerable to those spiritual battles because we are exercising our faith in certain ways, and because we may be perceived as being more of a challenge to those powers and principalities. But I would say that we benefit today as much from the Christian witness of the global South as the Christian West benefiting the global South. In fact, there's almost been a reversal of the pathways of missionary activity, with more missionaries being sent from the global South to the Christian West than the Christian West sending missionaries to the global South. So, you know, God is He's a God of the entire world, and He's active all around the world, and the forces of evil also are displayed around the world. So the spiritual battle occurs everywhere.